Hey, a great Tuesday. It is Tuesday,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And we cut off my color. I was too bright. Great Tuesday morning. Ah, great Tuesday evening. I'll get it right sooner or later. It is a kind of a wet evening in the city of Brownsville. Let me tell you, it was raining throughout the day. Did y'all get caught in the rain?
Yes.
You know one thing. Let me tell you, people don't know how to drive in Brownsville. Horrible. It just rains a little bit, and like everyone goes batshit crazy.
But it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I was actually thinking about that. It was it today or this weekend? I can't remember. It was this weekend because we were in San Antonio. We took the kids to Fright Fest in at Six Flags, and I said, and I bought these mugs. That's why I asked you if you had any plans on going to Six Flags because I bought the mugs where you get anything you want to drink. You know, it's for free, right?
Mm.
Because I wish I had him out. I don't know where the hell my assistant puts stuff. She's horrible.
Don't.
It's but I bought these mugs that are member mugs, Six Flags, and they're like there's thermos mugs, like the Yetis. So they're really cool, and they usually cost like $40. You know, because you
Uh,
pay for them, and then you get free drinks throughout the season.
It's a
any
good
drink you
deal.
want.
Well, not the good stuff.
But I
But
mean, like soda, lemonade, anything.
yeah, Powerade. The kids wanted they gobble down the Powerade. I don't. It's just their thing, Powerade. I guess because it feels like Gatorade or something. I'm not sure. But you get anything you want, and so they were selling them for $4 each. I mean, this is at Six Flags, and they say Six Flags. I should pull one out if I could find them. I just don't know where the hell this girl puts stuff. But I'll show them tomorrow. So they're $4 a pop, and they're
That's
$4.
90% discount.
Huh?
That's a 90% discount.
Oh yeah. Well, because the temporada is going to be over, you know. So they try to get rid of all this stuff as much as possible. But $4. I mean, you can't even buy one of those thermo fake Yetis for $4. So I bought 15.
And they're gonna be Christmas gifts or what?
No, it's kind of trippy, but we have kids at church, so I thought kids might enjoy them. It's kind of like that double-edged sword type of thing, because it's kind of a double-edged sword because I'm going to give them to the kids at church. I just don't want them to feel bad, like, well, we don't go to Six Flags, but we get a mug.
Oh,
Are they good for coffee?
Yeah, it's for hot and cold.
Okay, they can use it for their morning coffee then. That's good.
it's kids.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, my kids, like Abraham's kids, they drink coffee like crazy, and we're like, and I asked them, I said, like, why are you ordering coffee? I mean, gusta el café, tío. But let me tell you, after uh, I don't,
See, I tell you, they're stressed. They got a lot of homework to do. They got to drink their coffee.
let me tell you, I don't. I mean, God bless everyone that has kids. Yeah, let me tell you, a weekend and Sunday, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I mean, I love them to death for like 36 hours, and after that, I can't do it anymore.
It's
And
hard when somebody else gets attention, right?
can't do that.
It
Gotta be focused on one person.
has to be Erasmo.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. But so no, so I bought those Yeti cups. So I thought, I'll give them to the kids at church. We got like 10 kids at church, and they'll probably enjoy it. Ay, nos trajo algo de. I always try to bring them something. But I was kind of llegué y dice Abraham, ¿te puedo quitar una de las de las tazas. I go, no, Bo, no, get your damn own. You should have paid $4 for your own, damn it. I mean, I'm not your sugar daddy. You're supposed to be my sugar daddy. You're the damn dentist. I mean, you're the one that's got, a medical degree. My dream of retirement was always like hooking up with a dentist. And I'm just joking. We're just friends.
He's watching. He's watching.
Yeah, he's watching. And we're just friends. But no, I tell him, le digo también lo mismo. Digo, oye, ¿cuándo me vas a sacar de la pobreza? My people at church go crazy because people at church, well, the other people at church, the ones that are they trip out. They call Abraham my Mexican husband. I'm going like we're just friends, but it's okay. I don't care. They can call
Hey, you want to get out of pobreza? You just need to get elected, and then you can steal all you want. You'll be rich.
I get there. One of the funny things is, and again, I want to say this before I get elected. One of the things that I tell the kids because they are like, "Tío, te vas a comprar un Tesla?"
Yeah.
And I said, I go like, see if because I'm planning to buy a car. So, and I've been looking at buying a Tesla on my own without being elected. And I was like, going like, and they said, tío, pero ya cómprate el Tesla, tío. And it's kind of cute. I wish I could find it. But my sobrino, Iker, oh shit, I have it here, but my damn secretary, she's horrible. Iker, they make me take him to Walmart. They made me take him to Walmart. Y luego, tío, vamos a la sección de los carros. I'm going like, ¿para qué? Dijo, queremos que comprar un carro. Dijo, ¿tienes dinero? No, tío, pero tú tienes. I'm going like, you're not my kid. You're not my kid. What the hell? But they're so cute because I take them to the toy section, and they buy. Trust me, I spent like $200 just on damn toys, and oil for Abraham. I don't know why the hell I'm buying his oil, but anyway, so they buy these cars, and I don't know what they are, and we get out of the store, we go to the hotel and everything, and in the morning, Iker, he's the 9-year-old, he goes, tío, mira, este es el Tesla que te vas a comprar. He had actually bought a little Tesla, and it was nice. I go like, qué hermoso. Tío, te lo voy a regalar, tío. And we're like, oh, gracias. I paid for that. You I paid for that. What do you mean me lo vas a regalar?
Te lo regalaste tú solo.
I wouldn't have bought that on my own. It's here somewhere. So
it was in his heart to give away something that you gave him.
But it came out of my pocket.
It's part of the vision board thing. Like in physical form.
I paid for that. So going like, gracias. He gave me the car that I paid for him. But what trips me out is, talking about gifts, is then like every other stuff that I've bought them, do they just go freely giving them away? Like, tengan, te regalé esto. I'm going like, maybe I shouldn't buy them anything anymore.
Sponsored by Erasmo.
Or I should do what most people do. You put your name on them, like engraved. Este regalo lo compró Erasmo.
Not for resale.
Eres un patrocinador.
Good evening, Commissioner de los Santos.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I've learned, because again, after getting elected, if I'm out there traveling, I don't want anyone to think that I'm traveling on vendor money. Only Commissioner de los Chanclas does that. But when you go to Europe and you go to Africa, yo ando por todas partes, they put made in PRC. Have you ever heard of that?
People's Republic of China?
Yeah. But, and I was going like, PRC? What the hell is PRC? Puerto Rico? Or Punta Cana? Or I didn't know what it was. But then someone says, no, this kid that's made in China. I said, it doesn't say made, but that's how they try to fool you. They try to fool you by putting a different type of label on there. They put PRC, People's Republic of China. And
they're used to something different. Not everybody's American.
well, yeah, but I'm used to seeing China.
Yeah, I used to see made in China.
Like our great former president used to say, China.
China.
Right, Carl? But, so now, you have to be careful because you think you're buying something from there and it's not. It's from PRC. So it's
Pues nomás, le haces Google. What does PRC mean?
Es una puerca revolcada. Es la misma puerca revolcada. But so that was my weekend. I did the kid thing and 36 hours, bros, and I'm out.
We did the kid thing too this weekend.
With
and Monday through Friday.
What a coincidence!
Yeah, but y'all's are permanent. I mean, y'all's are there forever. Mine 36 hours, Commissioner Lochan, and I cannot deal with kids anymore. God bless everyone that has kids. That's not my thing. Let's go to the comments before we go into the great stuff.
Oh yes.
Good evening. Evening, good evening, Consuelo, good evening again. A sound mind. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Islam. Hello, clown. You guys, just why are you using a damn scooter? Cross. And please do not make fun of Commissioner de los Chanclas shirt, please.
It's a hoodie.
That's a nice shirt.
It's camouflage made up of cats.
I love it. Yeah, please stop making fun of Commissioner Santos. So what happened with this man Bruce? You got PUP. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Texas is a state you can fire and employ without cause for an at-will employee. If misleading, defrauding, and using monies isn't it enough for PUB, why not get rid of Brugiac just because? Oh, we'll find out. We'll ask. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, guys. A question: how can any family go on about life knowing that he is such a big old fat horrible rat? I don't know. Oh, did I read that right? I'm sorry about that. Good evening. Anything major I missed at Brownsville Commissioner meeting tonight? Oh, we'll find out. He didn't deny it. Did not deny it. Why is Brugiac still going to his office? Aren't most people that put it on leave expected to stay away? Does he do that when he wants? We'll ask Commissioner.
Apparently.
You are number one, right? I keep telling people that. People don't believe me. I don't know. You would make a great father, especially for a girl. She would melt your heart. Yeah, I'm not. And just 1 minute. And let me tell you, I've considered that because I can't deal with the whole relationship thing. I'm not good at relationships. I'm horrible. I would make anyone's life miserable. Completely would. So I'm never going to do that to anyone, and I don't want to do it to myself because I'd be miserable. But then I thought, you know what? I could just go to Mexico and win like $10,000, $5,000, and then $5,000, and have a kid. Again, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. It's not illegal, right, Carlo? Someone saved me. But pay someone. No, pay someone. And I actually thought about it for like a whole 3 seconds. When I no. Then I just skipped out of that one. It's not my thing. I can't deal with the children. I love them to death.
That's why you wed people.
Huh?
That's why you decided to wed people.
Yeah. Well, I love kids, and I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I like it for like 20 minutes, and then after that, except for my dentist, I put up with 36 hours of that crap. Watching Astros game and they're losing. Not good. So, what can we talk about tonight? Oh, let's start off with I guess something that we learned this morning that Comrade Brugiac continues to visit PUB. Have you heard of anything of the sorts, Commissioner?
I have. In fact, when I first heard that, I started inquiring immediately. And evidently he's been given permission to come on property to request information to make his case, I guess, if he's going to plead an argument. But as I understand it, he's not, he doesn't have free reign to come and go as he pleases. My understanding is It's with supervision and it's restricted, and it's got to be specific to, I guess, whatever he's looking for.
Okay, before this point gets lost, what argument is he making?
That I don't know.
Is there a deadline that if he doesn't produce some kind of evidence, they're going to fire him, or what does he need to go to the office for? It just makes no sense.
Could not tell you. Remember, that's PUB's domain. We have no say over how they run the operation.
But shouldn't you?
Yes, we should, and that's why there will likely be a charter amendment next year.
Let me say, my concern is we and this is one of the things with PUB, we tend to learn about what's going on afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. No one, Commissioner, no one knew about we're going to use this money to subsidize a lot of the, so you've been getting the Tenasca money back. It seems like after the audit, it was a cool explanation as to, where the money went.
Mm-hmm.
But in the time that it supposedly started, no one had made mention of it. It doesn't come out till afterwards. With this thing with Brugiac, I mean, it's the second time that people and the way that I found out about it was people there at PUB going like, oh, isn't this guy not supposed to be here? And we're like, well, let's find out. And other individuals, and I said, guys, can y'all give me some pictures and some video? But a lot of people are still afraid of retaliation. So now his response to, well, I'm coming back because I've got a case to make. Well, shouldn't the people been informed before? Like, these are the stipulations in regards to what he can and cannot do. Because anytime anyone is placed on leave, and I know because we placed individuals, I placed individuals on leave, not my secretary because she's amazing, but when we had the incident at the BISD and we placed our superintendent on leave, we made sure that there was these parameters. You cannot do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Every entity out there, any job out there, and Carlo, I would imagine you need to have certain. These are the guidelines, and one of the things that I think that the mayor has stated that they're very good with guidelines. They set guidelines, set the guidelines for receiving monies from BCIC. So PUB is a major corporation, this close from being a Fortune 500 company, this close, not for $150 million, this close. It probably not more now since they're getting so much more money now. But didn't anyone think it was a good idea to have some parameters in regards to what his leave actually meant?
I would think so, but since that's PUB's domain, I don't know what parameters were set as part of his leave.
Apparently none.
No, I know there are some because he just, like I say, he doesn't have free reign because I asked that question specifically. I'm like, is he just coming and going as he pleases? And I've been assured that's not the case.
But this is at least the second time that he's been on PUB property.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not coming and going as it pleases, does it mean that he just doesn't get to walk around by himself, but he gets to do whatever he feels while he's on? I mean, he has a chaperone and escort, but how do we know that they're keeping him from doing something he's not supposed to be doing?
There was no chaperone.
Huh?
There was no chaperone.
No chaperone? He just walks around by himself?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's video, I think that we should get access to those videos of where he's going and what he's doing inside.
No, I'm sure if there's any videos, those would be public as well. That's anything that's part of that entity is available for public request, public information.
Who's authorizing for him to go in there?
I would assume it had to be the board.
It just doesn't.
That's an assumption, though, on my part.
It just doesn't look good. And again, PUB has been caught with their pants down. And again, know that we're going through the whole process. They've been caught with their pants down. You would think that at this point, they're going to be sure to cross those T's and dot those I's. This doesn't look good. And Commissioner, perception is.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, I want to say this because one of the things that I've tried to shy away from, and I think a lot of people know this, I want to shy away. I don't want people to think like, oh, Erasmo's trying to be opportunistic because an election. At the end of the day, uh, you know, elections come and elections go. But shouldn't there be someone out there with a couple more than two little brain cells up there that could have said like, she shouldn't be on property right now? What I mean, if we are held
or
we are held to do public information requests, why the hell shouldn't he be held to the same standard right now that he has the separation? Why doesn't he?
He can be, but that he's not. That's PUB's decision, not the city commission's decision. And I can only speak, from my experience in corporate America. There are times employees are placed on leave, but then yes, they are back at the office for specific things, for meetings, for hearings, for reviews, for whatever the case might be. I don't know the nature of his visits to PUB property. I've just started to ask those questions because I heard he was back on property.
Well, if anybody in PR from PUB is watching, maybe for immediate release, this is the letter of leave given to Mr. Brusiak. This is what he has. Let us know.
Thing, and y'all know, and some Patricio Sampaio, he said thank y'all for coming and asking the questions and doing the information, and even stated out there before the city commission. I was there. We've got to start being transparent. We appreciate the people. We got to start sharing all this information with them, because
Don't trust anything that guy says.
yeah, if there's nothing going on, then just throw it out there.
Mhm.
And my concern is, I hate, Commissioner, I hate that it's called our PUB. I don't feel it's ours.
Of course it's not. You can't get any accountability for anything that you ask about. How is it?
No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, you'd have to tell me something that we've asked for accountability on and that we're not seeing it. Well, maybe we didn't see something
But
happen.
they give you no information because you have no information. So that's part of being accountable, for you to know what the parameters of his leave are, when he'll be going, because you're going to get the questions. You're getting the questions. So how about a heads up? He's going to go today from 10 to 12. He's going to be escorted by the counsel or some attorney, and he's going to be in his office from 11:15 to 11:30, and he's going to access this, and that's it. Because that's part of being accountable.
Yeah,
giving information.
You're
telling us you have no information.
Remember, our charters is very specific on the relationship with the commission and PUB. We don't have authority over their day-to-day operations. We appoint their board, we approve rate changes, but we have no say in their day-to-day operations, and that's the charter. That's like the city's constitution.
But Commissioner,
yes, I understand.
But Commissioner, again, and I appreciate your.
This is a special circumstance when there should be a lot of information exchanged between. Right?
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Well, hang on a second. That's a good point. And Carlos, you're a lawyer. So at what point do you say, well, now I'm going to share information about one of my employees with someone who does not have oversight over my day-to-day business operations because it's special circumstances? They could be violating
the point
his
where
rights.
There's a giant scandal.
But when does the scandal give you the right to divulge employee information to someone outside the business organization, outside of a subpoena?
Well, I appreciate you coming. But one of the things that I think that we can only hold you all accountable, right, as of right now. We can only hold you all accountable because we elect you all. We vote for you all, and we can't hold PUB accountable, and neither can you all at this point because of what the charter states. My concern is why hasn't anyone in the past 2 years, done anything in regards to remedy this in regards to the relationship with PUB? Because it's not a today problem. we knew that there was a lot of bad stuff going on in PUB, a lot of bad stuff. So if we had started this process in regards to change the charter 4 years ago, when and again when Mayor Mendes came
We
in,
did. Remember, we changed the charter 2 years ago or
Yeah.
last year,
but not for PUB.
not for PUB.
But wouldn't it have been amazing if we had changed it back then?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't we have been in a better place? Now, do you recall anyone ever recommending making a change to the charter in regards to PUB?
And not that I recall, but I'd have to go. I really don't recall a lot of the previous charter amendments prior to 2021, so I couldn't say.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and again, because, and I had this conversation with Commissioner Tetreault, and I recall several years ago, and again, she could disprove me, but I'm sure that I did. I said, y'all should have more power over what's going on at PUB. I mean, because again,
Yes.
we can't hold them, but the only ones that we could actually go and ask questions are to you all, and then your hands are tied, and then we get frustrated. And
I don't blame you one bit. I'm frustrated also because there should be more oversight,
because
and hopefully that'll be coming.
because of the lack of oversight, they screwed us for $135 million.
I like the way you pronounce that word.
You know, because of no oversight, we got screwed $135 million, and the community's pissed.
And that's why, as a commissioner, I don't just trust data that's put in front of me. I ask to see raw data for myself and reach my own conclusions. I don't need somebody telling me what the numbers mean and what the data means.
Yeah, and we're at that point that, and again, and this is the short. And I mentioned this, I think, at PUB, or I can't remember at the city commission, but how can we trust anything else that's placed in front of us?
Well, you've got to look at who it is that placed information in front of you previously that turned out not to be reliable, and be very skeptical with regard to those individuals before, and look at who is working to bring stuff like this to light and to hold some people accountable, and be sure you realize who you can trust and who you can't trust.
That's hard right now.
I know, that's understandable.
Very, very hard right now. And but again, you know, I'm hoping that these next steps are going to be, you know, towards the right direction. We do not trust the PUB board. Do not trust them. Sam, I am. The other thing I think that we were concerned with, besides Bruchak being back on board, is, you know, we're slowly starting to decipher a lot more of what's going on in regards to the relationship. One of the things that I've been asked for, and I just got to do the time. I just haven't had the time. Is to create the timeline, and I actually got someone asked me to do that today. Just haven't had the time. But let me say this, Commissioner Judge Eddie Trevino was part of the Tenasca deal when they knew back in 2012 that it wasn't going to go anywhere. He was part of those private talks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that that's kind of nefarious for an individual who is at 2012 an attorney who's getting big bucks from Tenasca to continue with a charade?
Legal advice.
Would continue with the charades that it was actually going to happen when they knew back in 2012 that it wasn't.
Well, I fault the administration more than I would fault the attorneys, because the attorneys give their advice, and I'm not privy to what all advice was given back in those conversations.
How can you give advice over something that you already knew was
Dead.
derailed?
Oh, lawyers can give advice on all sorts of things, and in all different scenarios, and in all different possibilities as well. Now, whether or not his advice at the time as attorney was, you guys should abandon this and give it up, I don't know. I wasn't privy to those discussions. That was before my time as a commissioner. Or whether his advice was, well, we should keep this going, and here's how we continue it. I don't know what those discussions were. And that's why I look to the audit, because I think the audit has been the most revealing thing we've seen so far come out of all of Tenasca, for as long as the city's been talking about it, and as long as the city had concerns because it wasn't coming to fruition. I'm glad we finally have something we can put our hands on that shows there was some impropriety.
Are you concerned that some individuals on the PUB board, I'm not going to mention names, both Sandras, have gone out there and tried to refute the audit?
I think as a responsible board member, they should, just like I say myself, if somebody puts an audit in front of me, I'm going to want to vet it for myself and make sure that it's accurate. I'm not going to try and refute it at the get-go, because I'd have no basis for that. And I have not seen anything since the audit has come out to lead me to believe that anything is factually inaccurate up to this point. Nobody's been able to prove anything like that to me or show me any evidence. And I know while there were questions about some of the information in the audit or some of the conclusions drawn, as I've read it, the conclusions were rooted in what information was provided as part of the investigation. And if that's what they had to work with, then those were reasonable conclusions. That there might have been other information that they were not given, that's not the fault of the auditors. And that does not skew what conclusions they reached, because they reached those conclusions based on what they were told.
Let me tell you, I knew. So there's just absolutely no, and I think you knew, Commissioner, something was up.
Oh, honestly, I wasn't paying attention to Tenasca back then. Okay. I really wasn't.
Well, I knew.
Well, remember, for several of those years, I was living on South Padre Island. I lived on South Padre from 2009 to 2015. So I wasn't paying a lot of attention to what was going on with regard to this.
I knew. And if I knew, both those Sanders knew. They knew. There's absolutely no way that they didn't know.
Well, they weren't on the board until 2019, I thought.
Yeah, but one of them used to be tied at the hip to the mayor, and the other one was going to Colombia with him, and everywhere else. They knew. It's impossible that they couldn't have known. And again, for me, it's one of those like, I've finally been vindicated. I've finally been proven right. But it's like, man, I wish I hadn't been proven right. Type of situation. But it is what it is. They knew, they know, and they still come out with that crap in regards to, well, we're going to check to see if it's true or not. That pissed me off. Personally, it pissed me off. Going like, come on, chicks. Y'all know damn well that that's true. I've known for the longest time. My biggest concern is Commissioner Nerth Kolonsky. And again, I'm going to put it out there, and again, set myself up for maybe getting sued for defamation or slander or whatever they want to call it. But I think that there's more there, and I don't think that she's been upfront. We've actually gotten some information in regards to a lot of the land purchases out there. I don't feel comfortable with her lack of response. I don't feel comfortable with her voting against the audit. I don't feel comfortable about her father sitting on zoning and planning. When is it going to stop?
Those are legitimate concerns. And I can tell you, not speaking specifically with regard to this scenario that you're describing, but just in general, I will say that as revealing as the audit was, it led to more questions that I have. And I can tell you that definitely a lot of the questions are around the right-of-way property acquisitions. Is what were those properties valued at previously?
Yes.
Was the appraised value when they were purchased based on Tenasca coming to fruition when it was already known that that was not going to be the case? I think there should be consideration, and I need to look at what the law says on this, but if ever PUB disposes of any of those properties, I think those property owners should have right of first refusal. If it was taken under pretenses like this, where it was for a project that there was reliable information that it was not going to come to fruition, then I think there needs to be consideration for those property owners. And most especially, I think if PUB turns a bigger profit on it and acquired it through fraudulent means, there needs to be consideration for those property owners. So there's more that I'm going to be requesting from our city attorney to request a PUB. And luckily, a lot of this information, as far as property tax goes, we can look at those valuations independently. We don't need, whether they want to cooperate or not, we don't have to rely just on PUB to provide that information.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I agree with you in the sense that this audit, what it did, it, it's like the Sylvia Atkinson thing. You know, it's here's what we have
Hmm.
in regards to the Sylvia Atkinson case. But then all of a sudden, you see this little branch over here seeing Rio Hondo. And then you see this little branch over here going into Kajits. You see this little branch over here going into the movie deals. You see this little arm over here going into, that thing that she went in with that other rat, Adela Garza, that Sunshine Solutions. You see all these other bubbles out here, and you're going like, there's more there. So what this audit did for me was going like, yeah, there's definitely more there because we'd heard the talk about the Golanskis out there, making a damn killing, making a killing in regards to them being on these boards and committees because she was on the board when she was started raking in the cash from PUB, from the inside information that they received from PUB. She was on the damn board. When she got elected to be on the city commission, my first thought out there was going like, what the hell are people thinking? You know, but again, got voted in, continue to make some cash. That's what's concerning. That commissioners get first dibs, and elected officials get first dibs in regards to property and other a bunch of other little goodies out there, and that's just unfortunate. So one of the things that we've been screaming about, or I've been screaming about, but I guess is we want safeguards put in place so that this never ever happens again.
Absolutely. And it's not difficult to do. You just have to have the right people in the right positions willing to make the tough decisions and put those safeguards in place.
If the CUB has no jurisdiction on PUSB, then the recommendations need to stop coming from the City of Brownsville Board ASAP.
And no, that's wrong because the reason we have no jurisdiction on the day-to-day operations is the same reason we have the right to appoint those board members because it's in the charter. That is essentially the constitution of the city. And if we want to change it, that's what the charter review is for. But we're not going to say break the law over here because they're breaking the law over there because that's what that's advocating. That's not going to happen.
That's why we need a change to the charter ASAP.
Yes.
And it should have happened 4 years ago. If PUB is PUB not familiar email?
Yes, they are. And I don't disagree with you on that. I think any information that Mr. Brujak might want, he should be able to request in writing and they should be able to provide it to him in writing. I don't think he needs to physically be on the property to get that. But again, that's not my decision since I'm a commission member, not a PUB board member.
Mr. Zampayo asked for the city legal to send over the commission's concerns regarding conflicts. Did that happen?
No idea. I haven't asked that question.
I don't think so. Vote. Don't forget to vote, everyone. Take your time. Yes, please. And I appreciate Commissioner Santos going on and voting for Erasmo Castro. Lucy P. has yet 802 Ruben Torres gets facelift every 3 months. Oh, that's because of medium.
That's state of Texas. That's not city of Brownsville.
Yeah. PUB needs to stop accommodating the qualifications of fit a person of interest rather than the findings of person that fits qualification. Commissioners, how do we do PUB from practicing such unfair and unequal hiring processes? That was one of the other concerns. And again, commissioners do not have control in regards to the hiring and firing of PUB personnel. But that is something that, again, we know. Let's take that off the thing. One of the things that I think is starting to come out, Commissioner, is now people are starting to share, hey, we're having these issues.
Mm-hmm.
We're having these problems. Como que they've been a little bit on the emboldened side. By, hey, this is what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And go back to that comment real quick. So I want to make a comment on that.
Okay.
And I agree, Yasmin, that's something we need to think about. How do we do this to prevent this in the future? And that goes along those same lines. Part of it is going to be the charter amendment. We don't want to make it more political because we've seen city commissions that get political as well. So you can't ruin one thing by going another direction in another extreme. So we've got to be judicious in how we proceed. I think there's a lot to be said for requiring supermajorities, because a simple majority can a lot of times be very political, but there needs to be considerations for when conflicts exist. Those people have to sit out, and that should not prevent decisions from being made. And I think that's the situation we're in right now with the city commission, is whether it's one person that we're allowed to remove, or even if it was 4 people we're allowed to remove, or the entire board that we're allowed to remove, if the requirement is it's got to be unanimous decision of the entire commission, when you've got someone who was a PUB board member at the time, that's a problem. I think we need to be able to say, if you've got a conflict, you sit it out, and whether we want a 3/4 supermajority or 2/3 supermajority, or even unanimous decision, but a unanimous decision of those who have no conflicts. But to say all 7 members of the commission have to be in agreement to take action, that's part of that's a problem.
So when are we getting rid of Sandra Sines?
I'm sorry?
When are we getting rid of Sandra Sines?
Show me something she's done to break the law that warrants her removal.
She's Martinez crony. But let me say,
wait, hold on. Is that a requirement to remove a member from the board that they did something illegal?
I'll need to go back and double check, but on most boards, it is not a requirement. On some boards, it absolutely is. On some boards, you have to have cause.
If it's not illegal, then
yeah,
can we get that on the table?
You can get it on the table, but again, you need 7 votes. Well, all 7 members of the commission have to vote.
But
it's
not. We just want it on the table.
Yeah,
we want it on the table.
Why can't that happen? Let's chop one of them now. You know, and again, wouldn't it be and honestly, wouldn't it be an amazing sign out there, a sign of action? You know what, guys, we're tired of this. They should have been más al tanto. They should have been más al alba. They haven't been. They're compadres with the Martinez. They were appointed by the Martinez clan, which includes Gowan and Galonsky and all these other individuals. Wouldn't it be just so amazing, you know, before the year is up, you know, on your December meeting, give us someone's head on a damn platter.
See, that's a problem. Let's say, for example, at Erasmo, you did something that was highly illegal. Should we say, well, let's go after Kayla and Carlo. Let's go after Maggie because we want a head. Well, that doesn't make sense.
I think part of the problem is that Erasmo, is that you're saying let's have someone's head on the platter, and I think maybe that's what we feel like, but it might not be what we should come across as, because if all things were beautiful, then would we all be holding on hands and singing Kumbaya? Mm-hmm. But that's not how it's going to work. However, I understand what you're saying, because I completely agree. The look, the way it's set up does not look kosher at all. It of course looks like she had something to do with what he was doing.
Yeah.
But we're not, and we really do want someone's head on a platter. We don't want someone's head on a platter.
No, but right now we don't know. It's not clear. That could be enough to remove somebody. The appearance of a conflict of interest, I mean, we need to review that, right? So
it could be, but keep in mind also, even the audit tells us when these things happen, when they knew, when data was misrepresented, when outdated data was being presented to the board. These people whose head you want, they weren't on the board at the time.
They knew. Sandra Sines
knew. She was not on the PUB board at the time, and you can't say she knew.
But she knew.
Yes, they were close, but you can't say definitively that she knew.
She knew. Okay, I guarantee you, she knew. And you know what? It's going to come out later on.
And if someone could guarantee us that one of Carlos' clients committed a crime, but there's no proof for it, do we put him in jail? No.
No, but why is that a requirement right now that a crime was committed?
I'm not saying a crime. I'm just saying costs.
Yeah, I'm going to be.
If we're going to remove someone, shouldn't there be costs?
I'm going to be proven right.
There could be.
And let me say why, Carlo. Let me tell you why. Because if next year there's a new majority on the city commission, and we've got people like my appointee to the PUB board is Art Rendon, and he's absolutely on the right side of this, pushing for things to happen. But if we have a new majority next year and they say, well, you know what, let's get rid of those guys who are pushing for accountability, and those guys who are pushing for a head on a platter, let's get rid of them because we're the majority now. We don't need costs. Is that how we want our city run?
But let me tell you.
But right now,
no, I'm praying.
All that we hear is what we can do. There hasn't been any explanation of we're gonna do this. This is
next steps.
what we've looked into, and these are our paths forward to make you guys whole, to clear the appearance of conflict of interest, to make sure that the citizens of Brownsville are calm and their trust is restored in the public officials that are elected and appointed by us. So all we hear right now is no, we can't. No, we don't know. No.
That is not true. That is
yes, it
absolutely
is.
not. No, it is not. Because
That's all I've heard so far.
We've seen the commission make this public. We've seen the commission go to law enforcement. We've seen the PB board put someone on leave.
But
This is not
only
being,
after
well, we have an audit, but we can't do anything.
But
Nobody's
only
saying
after
we can't do anything.
Erasmo and a whole bunch of people got together and started posting on social media and making comments about it. Only because it's all been reactionary.
No, ma'am.
To what we've been standing
No,
up.
ma'am. Well, it's great that the people are being vocal, Maggie, but if you think that the only reason any of this happened is because the people mobilized and were vocal, I'm sorry. There was nobody, when I voted to have this audit done last year, there was nobody there making public comment.
Oh, no.
Erasmo's been doing it.
We've been screaming.
Not that I was listening to them. This did not, my vote for this audit did not come about because of public outcry.
It absolutely looks as a reactionary move to a public outcry, and I would love to think that it's not, but me, who is mildly into it, following as I can see that to me it looks like public reaction, and I think to people who are even less paying attention to it are also going to think that it's as a result to public outcry, not to anything else, not because of your own goodwill, and I'm not talking in particular. Not because of anybody's own goodwill, other than because BISD, hello, that's what I'm thinking about. Brownsville people are pissed, and we're finally saying something about it.
And let me say, Commissioner, we've been screaming about this for years. I mean, again, the recordings are there. We recorded meetings. I mean, I wore a Tenasca shirt, which came from Benice. I wore one of those things. I still have it somewhere. You know, we were out there pushing for this for years. It's not something new. And again, I appreciate everything that y'all have done. I even shared that with you, and I even shared that with Mayor Mendez, who, you know, he and I have had a little falling apart. But I've been very, 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 upfront in regards to, thanking him and saying it out publicly. You know, there's steps in the right direction. What I mean about it, give us something, and let me say, people are pissed. And people are pissed, and sometimes it is, and I don't want this to sound really weird, but sometimes there's a big disconnect, Commissioner, between every single individual on that board, every single one, and my tia that lives down southmost. Every one. There's nothing that they can relate to. And unfortunately, there's nothing that no one on the city, which again, we're elected, no one that on city commission can personally relate to in regards to the suffering that's going on. Commissioner, let me tell you.
No, I take exception with that. I'm sorry, I take exception with that.
We had.
I grew up on Southmost.
No.
My mom was a housewife. My dad was a longshoreman. Don't tell me we can't relate to the people.
Socioeconomic status, Commissioner. This is what I'm referring to.
No. Today, yes, but I had to work to get here at Osmo. I grew up on Southmost. Don't say I can't relate to those people when my father still lives out there.
When you were growing up down Southmost, Commissioner, we weren't up 41% in Tenasca, the money that these people stole from us. It wasn't the case. I grew up down southmost as well.
Are you saying there were no scandals when I was growing up?
No.
That taxpayers weren't taken advantage of back in those days?
Not 135 million scandals, I'll tell you that much. Not $135 million. And that's where we're at right now, at $135 million that are unaccounted for. I don't care how much.
They are not unaccounted for. Not $1 is unaccounted for. You cannot say that.
I don't care how much they say that they
cannot say that.
I care how much they say that we gave them back some little money. We just didn't tell you about it. It's not enough. 29 million is not enough.
How can you say it's not enough if it's not accounted for? It is accounted for because you know what the number is. We know what the number is. That's why it is accounted for, and that's why it needs to be returned to the people.
I don't care.
Where's
But
the
if we
proof,
can't
though?
account for it, what are we going to return if it's not accounted for?
I don't care about the 29 million. I don't care about the 11 million. I don't care about the 40 million that they've been mentioning. I want my damn $135 million back. That's what I want back. And
I
that's
know what you want back.
And that's what I'm going to say, that 95% of the people in Brownsville want back, because it was taken from us out of deceit, lies, manipulation, and individuals making a damn buck, getting their wheels greased. This is what the report says that we all paid for. But again, a good show of faith would say, you know what, guys, we're going to have the power to remove people. Let's start removing someone now. But no one's going to do it. And because, you're not going to look, and I'm not stupid. I just look stupid and act stupid sometimes. But let me tell you, I know for a fact that we don't have 7 votes to remove anyone right now. It's not going to happen. But it would show who Golonsky is, who Rose Gowan is. It would show who all these people are. And who
let me just say that, and also, sorry, because I wish you would give Mr. De Los Santos more of a chance to talk. And I'll be the first one to say, I think I like Mr. De Los Santos more than some people. Where are you? Erasmo, on this panel. But and I'll be the first one to say it. Me cae bien el señor. So I was going to say,
Joven, no señor.
El joven, me cae bien el joven. Sorry, I still think of myself as young. I'm going to take exception at heart. I'm going to take exception to the fact that you said that no one can relate to your tia in Southmost, because from what I've seen, Mr. De Los Santos went to Rivera, and I'm just going to guess that you were not on the high end of the fiscal compared to other people in Brownsville at the time. Okay, Trey also went to Porter, and the only reason why I know is because I was told that he kept asking people not to say that he's from Porter, but to say that he's a product of BISD. So that's what it stands out in my head, is that he's a Porter graduate and does not want to represent. But other than that, Churchill, she also is not, until she got married into money, she's not from money. But I think, honestly, what Erasmo is saying is right. I think, not excluding you because of the way you grew up, I think no one else has a clue as to the level of poverty people are living in and the hardship that they're going through, trying to get their payments made plus medication. I mean, my husband and I make a decent amount of money, and we're still having a problem, We're still having a problem trying to find the health insurance and to make sure that the health insurance covers. And we're at a higher level than Erasmo's tia on Southpost. And the 2 women that were at the PUB board meeting that spoke with Telemundo and talked about them having $1,000 PUB payment and no money for their medicine. So I agree with Erasmo. I think, honestly, PUB board members, look at who they are in their economics and how they grew up. They're out of touch with the poorest of the poor in Brownsville. BISD. You know what I'm thinking about also. So just BISD. And Brownsville city commissioners, the majority are out of touch with the poorest of the poor.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
See, Erasmo, it's the same thing you said, except you were being rude. Sorry, I didn't mean to come in and take over.
Sometimes that's a good thing, Maggie. Thank you for doing that.
People just want some action, and
of course they do.
And I think.
But let's not act like nothing has happened either.
No. Well, a lot has happened. But what I'm trying to say is they want quick, swift action, because a lot of people, Commissioner, are thinking that, hombre, it's going to get swept under the rug and nothing's ever going to happen. Nothing's going to come of it.
That's what it seems like.
But you can't say that, Kayla, because if that was the case, any audit that came out would have said, nope, everything's accounted for, everything's wonderful.
But the thing is that the audit did come out, and it does sound like that is what's being said.
What Kayla said was, it seems that way. And again, that's the Commissioner, that's the sentiment of most people in Brownsville, sir.
That's what
everybody.
everybody.
Your sentiment, but Erasmo, when we've got an audit, when we're going to federal authorities, when we're going to state authorities, when we're asking for investigations, how can anyone say nothing's happening?
Yeah, but you're understanding. So we've been exactly what you just mentioned is what we've been stating publicly. We've been stating it publicly, every other day on here, like, guys, the commission, I went out, the commission has taken steps in regards to it moving to law enforcement and everything. What Kayla mentioned is fact. It just seems like the wheels of justice are swerving very, very slowly. And that's what it seems to most people here in the city of Brownsville. It seems like it's not enough.
And I do want a clear answer, if it's possible, as to what is Brusiak building an argument against. Is there actually the board saying at the end of 60 days you're going to be fired unless, or is it just, hey, an excuse to allow him back in the building because he wants to go back in the building? Because if there's nothing to argue against, what is he building an argument against?
Say nothing's happening.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's just like, it's a simple excuse to say, well, he's building arguments against something, but we don't know what.
Carlo, you're a criminal defense attorney. Are you saying your clients don't have a right to try and make their case?
Against what? Against what?
It doesn't matter what against. It does not matter. Do they have a right to try to defend themselves? You're a criminal defense attorney. Do you have a right to?
What is he defending himself against? Is what I'm asking.
Huh?
What is he defending himself against? Is what I'm asking.
The audit shows very clearly that the information should have been updated to show accurate reflection of what demand was looking like, and that demand was not going to be skyrocketing the way they were telling the board.
What if he does not provide a rebuttal? Is he getting fired? Because we don't know that. What is he defending himself against? When somebody's defending themselves against something, there's a charge. We don't know what the charge is.
Does he even
What's the charge?
Does he even have a contract?
I don't know if he has a contract. Again, I'm not the governing body of
it. Just sounds like a cheap excuse to say he's in the building because he's building an argument, but there's no charge. So what is he arguing against? There's a lot. I'll give you an example. There's a lot of times when people come to my office and they say, I'm scared that I'm going to get arrested for X, Y, and Z. Well, we'd have to wait until that happens because you might never get arrested. You might never get charged. So what if he's building an argument against something, what is the charge?
For whatever he was placed on administrative leave for, I would assume, because that's a logical conclusion.
What is he put on administrative leave?
If you're put on leave at work, you're put on leave for something.
But if you're put on leave, then you shouldn't be back at work.
Depends on the circumstances. Because I've put people on leave before, and yes, they come back in.
What was he placed on leave?
Hearings, several things.
But Commissioner, come on. What was he placed on leave for? He was placed on leave because there is, an implication that he lied, cheated, manipulated, and stole. That's enough, Commissioner, for not wanting him back on the damn building. Come on, man. That's enough.
So then is he supposed to be able to defend against that is the question.
Well,
yes, but
he has access to those documents without accessing the building, and everybody knows that.
Yes, exactly.
And this is not the decision the commission can make.
But this is what
I want an answer to.
Don't you agree with us, Commissioner? Don't you agree with us that it's wrong that they let him back on the building?
I just said that. I said not even 5 minutes ago that he should request things in writing and they should send it to him via email.
Then let's not make the
I already said that. I'm on the record on that.
Because he's out because of. But again, what we've heard is that there's no. Someone submitted an open records request in regards to getting his contract. There's no contract on record, and this is concerning. And I make mention because if this is the case, Commissioner, and I'd appreciate if y'all would find out, because if this is the case, then they can let him go any second for no reason whatsoever.
Yes, but here's the problem. Here is the problem, and that's the thing.
See, always pushback.
This isn't pushback, Carlo. You're a lawyer. You know better than that. I can say, Carlo, I can sit here and say, well, I can let you go for no reason at all, but I suspect you stole, lied, cheated the people, so now I'm letting you go for no reason. You're going to tell me somebody doesn't have a claim for wrongful termination? You just gave them a reason why you're terminating them.
He's an at-will employee. He's an at-will employee.
Texas.
Yes, but nobody's saying we're firing you because you know what, we're getting rid of the position or we're just letting you go.
Just get rid
They've
of them.
already cited something specific.
They should just get rid of them.
They could get rid of him. He smells bad.
So you're saying if we did not have the audit in hand before the audit, we could have said we're letting you go at will.
Even with the audit in hand, it wouldn't have mattered. The difference is when you say I'm placing you on leave because of X, Y, and Z, and then I terminate you, I can't make the case of, well, I just let her go because at will employee. And I put her on leave first for X, Y, and Z.
I would love for Brusiak to file a wrongful termination suit and go through the discovery process. If that's what the city's scared of, I mean, come on.
Scared of anything. It's not the city's decision.
It should be.
It should be, but it's going to take the people through a vote, through a charter amendment, to give the city the kind of power it needs to have more accountability in situations like this.
We're all quiet. We're all quiet, and I think it's not because you put us in our place, but because it's very frustrating.
No, and I'm not trying to put you guys in your place. I'm trying to tell you guys, this is the scenario I'm in. I would love to be able to take more action, but I'm bound by the charter.
I see your point of view because as an official, as an administrator, as a city commissioner, this is the beauty of the United States, actually. We are not Mexico. You cannot come in here and just get rid of people nilly-willy. Unfortunately, people take advantage of that, and maybe not this time. Unfortunately, people get away with stuff that they shouldn't get away with, and then the rest of us have to sit back and wait for, bureaucracy, red tape, the process. So I understand the reason why we're having to wait, but it's very frustrating, and at the same time, you're going to have people forget what happened and move on.
And we're the bad guys for screaming about it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Everybody should be screaming about it. Because what happened was absolutely wrong. But let's not misrepresent facts. Two, let's not say, well, we know this and that happened, even though it's not in the audit, when the audit is showing us what happened.
Again, people are just suffering and they're hurting. And let me say,
I would like to know what the last PUB employee was fired for and compare that to Brusiak and how he still has his job. Probably because that person was late to work 3 times, maybe.
One of the other concerns that I received, Commissioner, I'm not sure if I said it to you. I might have. Maybe I didn't. Was in regards to a lot of the PUB employees are now, before they didn't feel emboldened to speak about anything. Now their retirement is in jeopardy because of the Limas.
Who's retirement?
BISD
employees retirement, and this is a concern that they share with me. I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that that the Limas are now involved in that too. I mean, isn't it interesting, how the Limas all of a sudden, part of BCIC, part of GBEC, part of all these.
Here we go again with the Limas.
Same thing, and then they take over the city retirement, and now they're taking over the PUB retirement. But it's always the same people, and people feel that they're going to get swindled out of their retirement out there. I don't know if you got an opportunity to see that, but shouldn't anyone out there be addressing that as well? Why is it always the same people?
Well, one, it's not always the same people, but you've got to keep in mind, and I know this is something that I look at regularly. Let's say we've got something coming up that's very important for the public, and you're trusting the public. You're entrusted with the public's trust, taxpayer dollars, whatever it is. Am I going to say, well, you guys have done it before. You may have done a fantastic job, but it should be somebody different this time. So now I'm going to bring in somebody who has no track record, no experience, because I don't want it always going to the same people.
But that's not the situation here. that would be lovely if we had someone come in and say, I want to try it. I've done it before, blah, blah, blah. But what we're talking about here with the Limas, and you said it's not always the same people, but it has been lately. It has been the same people. And Erasmo can, off the top of his head, I can probably even, off the top of my head, give you the list of people, what committees they've been in, what committees they were in, what official positions they held, what official positions they hold now, and you see it's the same loop back and forth with the same people, and it really is a lot of the same people, and it's tiresome and it's sickening when you start finally as a citizen, and I'll be the first one to put it in myself, when you start seeing, like the other day I was telling my daughter about some people that her friends is friends with, and her friend said, your mom's always politicizing it. And I'm like, but that's how it is. That's what Brownsville is right now. It's all these interlocking connections that the majority of us are not part of,
So
and cannot be a part of.
It's not that you can't be a part of, Maggie. That's not true. That it can happen. But let me ask you a question. Tell me something very good that has happened in Brownsville.
The little free libraries.
The what?
The little free libraries.
The little free libraries. Who put those up?
Different people.
Maggie does.
I don't know enough about those to be able to use that as an example. Give me an example of something big.
This is the bus stops, but there wasn't enough of that. And they were sitting in storage for, I mean, like, what else has happened in Brownsville?
The point I'm trying to make is even if you find something good, you say this is great, this is good for Brownsville, whether it's for the children, for the people, whatever. It's never going to be something that, you know what, everybody who was involved in this has never been on a board before, has never been on a committee before, was never involved before.
The commissioner.
But not to the level that we're complaining about. Not to the extreme, not to the amount of money they've stolen or taken, benefited from. If my husband and I wanted to go and buy a piece of property downtown, we would know the first thing. Yet this morning, who was on the show with you this morning, Erasmo? What's her name?
Kathy?
Yes, she was going down the list of all the property that all the people has purchased and bought, and it's the same people over and over again. It's Golansky. She made a couple of names that it's the same people once over and over again. I went asking around downtown just for shits and giggles. Let's see if I can find out information. And the only information I found out was through gossip about this one building that's worth $1 million. When am I ever going to have access to a building before it was worth $1 million? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. But let me say, Commissioner, aren't you concerned? Honestly, we got Limas on BCIC who voted to give himself all this Elon money so that he could do that little parking lot or little stage out there, 1848. Even voted to expand the historical district so that his restaurant, could get some of that cash. Voted for all that. Was out there, placing an agenda item so that Trey Mendes could get those $200,000 that he retracted, which we appreciate that. It's the same Limas that, all of a sudden gets the contract with the city of Brownsville. Same Limas who's, all of a sudden now we find out, and I didn't know about this, has the retirement for PUB as well. Aren't you concerned that these individuals are raking it in at our expense, the people of Brownsville expense?
Oh, absolutely. Whenever it happens that there's impropriety, that's absolutely concern.
But why are they still there?
Who?
Like the Limas and all these other people that that they feed off the city. And again, then there's nothing that can be done about them because again, one of y'all's statements is, well, we've got to put people on the board that we know, and these are the only people that we know. Because at the end of the day, it's always the same people. And look, and again, I'm not.
And Osmo, let me ask you a question.
One quick thing. I don't like Audit, and I don't like Audit because I know what happened at BISD. I know what happened at TSC, and again, I know what happened at BISD in the backside, and I can't say a lot of the stuff that happened in the executive session. But I know what happened in the backside. I know a lot of the dealings that he had, and this is my thing, but now he's on the people board. And again, I understand that he's great, but because he's shared information with you. Why is it always the same people? It's always
It's not always the same people.
Look, we're
Kind of
different.
is.
But hold on a second. But hold on a second to a point that you made.
Who on
To
this
a thing you just made a statement.
But who on this PUB board is different from anyone that's already been on all these other boards and committees. Sampaio's been on every other board out there, every single one.
And I didn't appoint Pat Sampaio.
Langley was in Colombia with our dollars on GBC.
And I didn't appoint her either.
No, I'm getting. But look at what I'm trying to say. I understand that. We got Sandra Sainz. She's a rata. I don't care what anyone out there says. She was tied at the hip with Martinez. She knew, guys. And again, she's on that board again. We've got Jude Benavides, man. This guy's out there doing contract work for Ambiotech. His wife works for Ambiotech, and they're the third largest contractor on this one project in Alaska. And Ambiotech, and you know this, Commissioner, Ambiotech is on every little thing out there, getting contract money, studies, and everything else throughout the city of Brownsville. They're all the only one is the good-looking guy on there.
Not even him. John Cowan. I was going to say, how many committees is John Cowan on?
No. The good-looking guy on PUB, the good-looking one.
Oh, the new one.
Mayonnaise guy.
Tennessee, or what is his name?
Hellman's Mayonnaise.
Holman?
Whatever. Hellman's Mayonnaise. He's the only good-looking. I mean, he's the only one that I haven't seen, and he might be on these other commissions, but committees. He might have been. He's still good-looking though. But what I'm saying is, it's always the same people.
It is.
So let me ask you guys a question. When I'm entrusted with the people's money, people's rights, people's lives, am I supposed to put somebody I don't know on those boards?
No, but you also don't have to put the same person. And it's not you and who
and
you
I don't. And that's why I interviewed.
and that's why, and actually you keep saying that. You keep defending yourself, but it's not you we're talking about. It's everything that has happened before you. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing that we're missing this connection, is that we want you not to understand, because I think you understand. We want you to say it. And maybe you can't say it because you're a city commissioner.
Bro, we're not throwing it at you.
No, we want you to understand, which I think you do, and agree with us, which I think you can't, that Delansky's been it forever, and so was her dad. That John Cowan is in multiple places, and so were his family members. That Tony Martinez got him and his little friends in different things. So I think what Erasmo needs to understand is that we don't want you to take blame for it. And I think sometimes you do start thinking we're attacking you. And two, I don't think Erasmo understands that officially on a podcast, you're never going to be able to say, I agree with you. Everybody I work with are ratas, and I'm sick and tired of that shit. Like, you're never going to say it. Give it up.
Hey, the truth is a defense for anything, so don't worry about it.
And if I thought that everybody that I work with on the commission was a rata, I would say that, Maggie. That's not the case. I'm not saying there is not a single rata among them. I'm just saying I don't think everybody's a rata.
But basically, it's who you know that gets put on these boards.
No, it's not.
The compadrismo thing that we keep going back to.
It's
who's in your inner circle of.
For other people, that might be the case. That's not true with me.
But we already clarified that it's not. We're not speaking about you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think we need to say, aside from the people. Wait, now give me a list of the people you've assigned. Now you're making me think. Other than Art Rendon. And Art Rendon, I don't want to say anything negative against him because his wife's a librarian or a retired librarian, but I've never heard a good thing about him as a BIC employee. But other than,
horrible stuff.
Yeah, like for years, like for decades, I've never heard a good thing about him. But other than Art Rendon, who else have you put on? Have you nominated that you can say, look, these people are not part of the clica?
There was a Priscilla Noriega who I interviewed and appointed, I believe it was to the Parks Advisory Board. I need to go back and look at my other appointments. But like tonight, Tomas, for the Charter Review Committee, that's someone who, if I met in passing, that might have been it, but was definitely not part of my inner circle or someone that I socialized with before. It was someone that was recommended, who I interviewed, just like Carlo and Kayla and Eder, were citizens who reached out or citizens who were recommended to me. And I interviewed, and This was a brand new appointment. It was based on good feeling that I had with all of the interviews I conducted. And there were others who reached out to me who I didn't get to interview.
Who was
because
what's the person's name?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Tomas Tijerina.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go on.
And I'm not aware of him being on any other boards for the city, currently or previously.
All right. So now can we get to BISD?
They're good friends with John Cowan, though.
What's that?
Tomas.
Oh.
Thomas is good friends with John Cowan.
But Carlo also told me when I interviewed him that he went to school with Pedro and he went to school with Pat Sampaio.
Yes, I was good friends with Pedro, and I ride motorcycles with his dad.
Carlo, see, Carlo, now you're part of the group. Are you part of the clica?
No, Carlo's not part of the clica, and that's why I could tell you. And I reached out to Carlo and Kayla before the meeting. They're on my short list, and while they weren't my appointees tonight, I guarantee you there's going to be a board I appoint them to, because I got such a good vibe from them when I met with them, and I would absolutely trust them to represent the citizens of Brownsville well.
I was afraid now Carlo was letting it out that he's part of some clica.
my clica is truth and justice, Maggie.
Oh yeah, go.
I can tell you, because I got the same vibe from Carlo that I got from Tomas, is that it doesn't matter who they grew up with, who they went to school with, they're going to be on the side of right when it comes to right and wrong.
Got it.
All right, Maggie, what's the next one?
BISD.
It's way over.
Carlo and Kayla, I didn't want to come in and interrupt y'all's discussion. Sorry. I did want to come on and get BISD around to the discussion, but hang on, because now my kid is coming in with a fever thing across her forehead. But I wanted to make sure Carlo and Kayla got a chance to say everything they wanted to say.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what's the deal with Patrick Hams?
Let me say,
Huh?
there's no one more irritating at BISD than Patrick Hammonds. For some reason,
you guys know who he is, right?
No.
He's the head of the Brownsville Teacher Association, called Brownsville Educators Stand Together, which is BEST. So he's one of the 3 associations that have been defending the teachers for the past 2 years, as far as I know, because that's my involvement so far. Go on, Erasmo.
he's a piece of crap.
So he's been saying that BISD should respect the best teachers. And that's his one thing, is he's always requesting respect. Then he announced it on his own that he was backing up the incumbents for BISD. He has donated multiple thousands of dollars to all 3 incumbents. All of a sudden, him and the incumbents were taking pictures together, making donations at nonprofit organizations. And he's their buddy all of a sudden. But then tonight, they did some kind of a protest, or he's calling for a protest against BISD to recommend respect for the teachers. So now I'm like wondering, what happened? Where did we go from demanding respect? I love you. Here's a whole ton of money. Wait a minute, you don't respect us.
Well, it makes no sense.
It does not.
And this is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons we have to come out here daily and remind people and stop being stupid. You know, don't get fooled like we've been fooled for all these years in regards to all these promises that are made. Stop being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the same guy that now wants to have a protest in front of a BISD building.
It's
and
on
then
Channel 4 News.
For some reason, the board decided to cancel their meeting because it's going to be a big old protest.
Yeah. Okay. No. So that's the other thing. Go ahead, and then I'll tell you.
And then the reason for the meeting is, teacher morale is bad. We got to have this protest because teachers are being mistreated. They're not being paid attention to. Everything's bad for our teachers. But you want to bring back the same individuals that have teachers where they're at right now.
Exactly.
And this is what's frustrating. But let me tell you, Maggie, and as much as you may want to be out there, BISD, more power to you. I'm at that point where if these people want to continue to eat crap, let them eat crap.
Well, you saw the post I put, didn't you?
Because 2 years ago, they had a choice to vote for the same crap or vote for something different. They voted for the same crap.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they voted for the same crap. Where nothing changed, everything got worse. And it wasn't because of COVID. It wasn't because there wasn't any money, because they got crap loads, $185 million from ESSER funds, crap load of money.
Plus state funds.
Things with, they did nothing.
And that's what was my post the other day, is like teachers, staff members, principals, counselors, librarians. If you want me and Erasmo and I to keep standing up for you with your messages, because I don't even get as many as Erasmo does, and I get a shit ton, sorry for the language, of messages. But if you guys want us to keep saying something, you need to go out there and do something. Also, you need to go out there and vote, because I hear a whole bunch of people that are not happy with the superintendent, that are not happy with the current board members, and I better as heck see a whole bunch of people go out there and vote. And like Erasmo says, not just you take people with you. And you want to know, I've had many people text me, message me, call me and say, can you tell me why you are supporting the people who you're supporting for BISD board? Can you tell me why you're supporting Erasmo? Why you're supporting Carlos Cascos? Abbott. I've been saying it, and I will explain it to you. But then if you don't take the time to vote, it's on you now. And I'm saying that officially November 9th. If we don't have a new board, I'm like, it's all on you guys. Because honestly, how does it affect Erasmo and how does it affect me? I'm retired. He doesn't work with anybody other than it affects the community.
Yeah.
The children we are educating are going to take care of us. And you guys need to realize that if you don't get your tushy tushes out there and vote, then you have no right to complain.
But let me say this. I know some of the assistant principals that got thrown in the pool, Maggie. I know them, and I know that they were celebrating when we lost 2 years ago, and they were all happy. Well, bitches, where the hell are you now?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got thrown in the damn pool because you were so happy that our opponents won, guys. And again, and Maggie, and I've said this for years. I'm going to, hopefully I don't have to continue to say it. At the end of the day, I'm going to be okay. Are you going to be okay?
And number two, please prove him wrong. I would love to. I'm writing it down every time he's wrong. I'm making notations of the few and far between times that he's wrong. But you guys, honestly, and I'm not that big of an Erasmo fan. I might look like I've drank the Kool-Aid, but I honestly have not. I'm trying to stay away from him as much as possible. But dang it, if he doesn't always come out to be right.
And that's what I'm concerned.
Not always. Not always.
But
99.999% of the time.
Some of which cannot be proved, but not always.
That's what my dentist said.
That's the Kool-Aid talking act.
No, that's not the Kool-Aid. Trust me.
But that's something else that I'm drinking. I'm glad my dentist isn't listening. But let me tell you, look, I don't want to be proven right anymore. I want to come out here and do the kumbaya like the Republicans wanted me to do, and I want to come out 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to travel in between, and I want to do these little videos where I'm out there like shirtless and running in the ocean and going like, aquí estoy.
Or going back to the restaurants and talking about what
What
food is good. Yes, wouldn't it be lovely if we could spend a whole hour and a half talking about restaurants?
Food.
Instead of the same thing over and over. And seriously, people, go vote. Look at BISD. Look at the pictures they present you themselves. The incumbents, look at the pictures they present you themselves. Take the time to look at what they're showing you. They are openly showing you who their connections are with. And how is it going to benefit? Other than money-wise, I don't know how it benefits them. I don't see it any other way. I'd love to. I'd love to live in my own little world where everything is wonderful and beautiful. But go vote, please.
No, the problem. No, the problem with Brownsville. I think I know who this guy is. Problem is having ignorant people like you or that crazy. What's your name? Oh yeah, Ashley. That they accuse with no proof. In fact, instead of accusing, get the crap together and actually comprehend the situation. And instead of being against the only commissioner who, and again, Enyar, I love you to death, my man. But let me tell you, this is the only commissioner that comes out. And let me tell you, we're very appreciative. And it's not against the commissioner. I think he understands that what we're frustrated is the situation at hand. And this
And
is
let me say
the
also that I was on this, when he's talking about you crazies, this was a comment he made in response to someone else's comment. He's not talking about you guys on the show being crazy.
and that's okay. I mean,
Oh, okay. I thought he
Yeah,
was.
it's not you guys.
even if it's not us, but I want to think that. And again, I'm not going to use it as an excuse forever. People are just hurting, and they're frustrated, and
Mhm.
they want to know where to direct their anger. And I'm not upset. I mean, I like eggnog. I probably not as much as everyone else here does, but I like eggnog, and I understand. Look, we appreciate you coming on, Commissioner. And again, this is not an easy show to come out on, and I know because it's a hard competition, to come on when you got someone as handsome as me here. It's not easy. But it's not easy for me either, being the most handsome individual in the city of Brownsville. You need to let them talk. I'm trying, Melinda. Sandra Science needs to go. I agree. Out the door. And Sandra Langley also. Both of those people need to be put out to pasture. They've been on boards for too long, way too long, and they're associated with all the wrong people. They've got to go. I need to. Boycott out of own business drive-throughs. I didn't even know he had drive-throughs.
I know.
Brownsville, Brownsville of good people. It's the rats that rot our city. Yeah. Let's
And
see.
it's the lack of voting involvement that is also rotting our city.
Yes.
Also ask Roy who can appoint next person to PUB board. I want that board.
I know it's not me because I just appointed Art last year, so I won't have an appointment for another 3 years. I'm not sure who's up next.
Can you can you ask around, or do you want us to ask?
Oh, I can check. When I'll go back to the last time we appointed someone to the PUB board. So whenever there's a board appointment, they show us the whole roster and when their terms end. So I know it's on the city website. I'll be able to pull it.
So then you can let them know if there's in.
It's gonna be North Kalansky that has the next vote. We got crap. But let me tell you, people, we've all got an opportunity this coming May. Get that chick out of damn office. None of the incumbents need to come back. Let's give Commissioner de las Chanclas 4 new people to work with on that city commission. 4 new people, guys. This city has an opportunity, not only this next November the 8th, to vote all the incumbents out, which might be sound a little self-serving there, but yeah. Again, I want to thank Commissioner Santos for
Well,
voting.
remember, one of the incumbents is termed out. She can't run for re-election.
I want to thank Commissioner Santos for voting Erasmo Castro for county commissioner. Thank you. But more importantly to me, guys, have the opportunity this next May to vote everybody out and have them never come back. And that's an opportunity that if you want, I'm going to be done with the city commission, the city of Brownsville, because it is an opportunity to get 4 new people who are not related or associated with any of these other individuals that have screwed the city over. But it's not going to work unless you like the damn page.
And BISD, we need to get rid of the team of 8, which is not supposed to be the team of 8.
Yeah, but that's this November the 8th. In regards to May, in regards to the city, everyone's going to need to go. In regards to May 11th,
So May the 8th, we're going to vote for 4 new
May 20,
members.
May 2023, we're going to vote for 4 new city commission members. One of them is going to be for the mayor. They've got to be new people that are not associated. May 8th, guys, not a question.
Is that something new we need to get? And that's why I wanted to be off the show November 9th.
November 8th, everyone has to be voted out. November 8th, everyone has sitting on a seat right now
and then I was gonna take time off. But if now I need to help make Brownsville better, that means I have to stay till May 29th. Kayla, I need for you to take over.
I can do it.
Tag you're it.
No, trust me, Commissioner Santos did not vote for Joy Lopez. And also for mayor. We'll see.
Do you know that? Like you were in the booth with him?
No, he told me. I'm sorry if I did.
See, you're not supposed to
Yeah,
sell
that's
Erasmo anything.
Especially in Texas with the Republican Party locking out the log cabin Republicans and adopting platform positions that say people like me shouldn't have rights because we're gay. There isn't any way I would vote for Republican this cycle.
But let me
And
say,
you even got folks who are commenting tonight who have put on their pages that people are too worried about having rights, that they should just accept that God's will may be that they don't have rights.
yeah, but
That's the attitude that I will never support, never vote for.
Yeah, but you're talking about, again, then we'll fall into the same crap. Oh, I'm not going to vote for a Republican because, up in Austin or up at the Dallas convention or whatever they have, the damn convention, I think Houston, and up in Washington, it's not the same.
No, I'm talking about even locally, just like Carlos Cascos, who is someone I consider a friend. But when Carlos Cascos is using the term defund the police and defund the sheriff's department, the budget cuts to the sheriff's department were cut because there's a deficit. Defund the police is something very specific where people want to take budget money from law enforcement and spend it a different way. That's not what's going on in Cameron County. And for him to use a soundbite like that, that's a cheap, typical Republican shot.
So you would support Eddie Trevino?
I don't support anybody who's going to lie to the public like that.
Like Eddie Trevino? The one
like Carlos Cascos did when he said defunding the sheriff's department.
You wouldn't vote for either one of them then?
I gotta go because I got a sick kid.
My dinner's getting cold.
Eddie Trevino took our money, lied to it, cheated. But he's a Republican.
Eddie's not a Republican.
Guys, have a good. Definitely not. Guys, have a great evening. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer, still believe in all that crap. Guys, please go out and vote tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day to go out and vote. Please. Guys, see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.